Weavile and Enamorus were recently buffed in the Indigo Disk DLC with the moves Triple Axle for Weavile and the Stellar Tera Type for Enamorus. Today we find out how good these buffs really are. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokémon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we have a pretty awesome battle against Cloud from the Discord server in the Smogon OU tier. Friendly reminder to drop a like on the video and be sure to subscribe for more Pokémon Wi-Fi battle content. Here are the teams. Let me know who you think will win in the comment section down below, and stick around till the end to find out if you're right. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the battle. And the battle begins. Good luck, have fun, Cloud. So they're going to lead off with Primarina, which does really well against my team as we lead off with Enamorus. So it's not the best matchup for us, that's for sure. Moonblast might sting a little bit, but they're definitely going to go ahead and go for an Ice Beam here. In which case, I'm probably better off switching out. So I'm going to switch out into my Iron Crown. Iron Crown can also take a Moonblast if they go for a Moonblast. If they go for a Sparkling Aria or a Hyper Voice, whatever, with a Liquidation boost, then, you know, it's what it is. So Iron Crown comes in. They do go for a Hyper Voice, expecting that more than likely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Volt Switch. I don't see any reason not to Volt Switch, as they are going to take it like a champ. It's going to do nearly half, and they probably go for another Hyper Voice. So I've got to go ahead and switch out into something to take a Water type move, which unfortunately I only have one, and that's Toedscruel. So we'll go Toedscruel. Toedscruel has the special defensive capabilities to take any hit that it wants to go for, unless it's Ice Beam. They do go for the Hyper Voice, which does nearly half. That's great for us. So now I'm like, you know what? Let's go for a Leaf Storm or something, because, you know, Leaf Storm hurts their entire team pretty hard. So I'm going to go for it. They actually stay in, expecting us to go for a Spore maybe. And the Primarina goes down. That's great for us, because that was a very big threat to our team. I do not have a very good switch-ins to the Primarina. Now, unfortunately, though, we are in a bit of a rut because we have got lowered special attack and we're on the field out in the open. In comes Darkrai. So Darkrai is an interesting one here. It gets Ice Beam, which obviously threatens us. It outspeeds us. And we don't have the best switch-ins in the world to the Ice Beam Dark coverage. However, I don't want to bring Weavile in, because if we bring Weavile in, they might go for a Dark Void, or a Hypnosis is the more accurate version. Hypnosis is more accurate. So I'm looking at Toedscruel and I'm thinking, I don't really need it too much, so I'm going to try and go for a Spore. They do go for an Ice Beam though, and that's going to take us out. So Toedscruel goes down, but I don't have the best switch-ins in the world to the Darkrai, and I didn't want my Weavile to be put to sleep because it does really well. They are Life Orb though, which is good to note. So I'm thinking of going Enamorus, but they'll Ice Beam me and it probably KOs. So I'm thinking I'm going to go Weavile. And Weavile outspeeds Darkrai as well, which is great. So we'll go Weavile real quick. There we go. It got a new buff in this gen. It's not a new buff. It was in Sword and Shield as well. But it finally got Triple Axle back. So I'm really hoping this can be pulled off. So let's go for the Triple Axle and hope we don't miss. We don't miss, which is great. Can we get all three? That'd be nice. And there we go. A critical hit takes out the Darkrai. So Weavile makes a good comeback for us, taking out that Darkrai with a critical hit. Wild. Absolutely wild. That's great for us. Pecharunt comes in. Now this thing is obviously a big threat to us. We do have the Iron Crown, so I am going to go the Iron Crown, because if it poisons us, it can't poison the Iron Crown, but it can go for a Hex, which would be unfortunate. I'm not sure whether the Hex KO from here though. So we'll go for it. They do go for a Parting Shot instead, expecting the switch, which is fair enough. We could have gone for a knockoff there, but I'd rather be in this position than the other position. So they do withdraw the Pecharunt, and now they're going to go into probably the Garchomp, if I had to guess. Yeah, Garchomp's coming in. So Garchomp can handle us pretty well. I do want to keep my Iron Crown around. They are probably going to go for hazards as well. So I could go into Weavile again and go for that Triple Axle. Weavile actually does really well against the rest of their team as well. Or we can go Enamorus. I'm leaning towards Enamorus, to be honest with you. I think Enamorus is a really good switch. A really good one for us. So I'm going to do it. There we go. Enamorus comes in. We can take an Earthquake. We can take a Dragon Tail. They probably go for a Hazard. They do go for an Earthquake though, which is great. So no hazards, which is great. We can just go straight for a Moonblast here. And there's not really a lot that wants to switch into that, other than the Pecharunt. So let's go Moonblast. So they do withdraw the Garchomp. What are they going to go into? That they can't bring the Great Tusk in. They cannot bring the Blaziken in, really. Pecharunt is the only option, so there it is. And we'll scope to see how much damage this Moonblast does. As it does, well, nearly half. That's great. So we got a crit, which is great. They can't go for a Parting Shot here, but their Malignant Chain is definitely going to KO us. So I'm going to have to switch out again. They might expect this and go for a Hex. I actually kind of want to gamble it. I do kind of want to gamble it. I think I'm going to gamble it. I don't think they'll go for a Malignant Chain because the Iron Crown is the obvious switch. I think they go for a Hex to try and get the Iron Crown on the switch. Could be wrong now. So we'll Stellar Terra real quick because I have not tried this out yet. So I'm really curious to see how well it does. So we go for a Terra Blast. And that is going to do hopefully enough damage to KO. Probably not though. As it doesn't, but it does give us an attack and a special attack boost as opposed to a lowering because of our contrary ability. So they do go for a Hex expecting the Iron Crown to come in, which is great for us. Does nearly half thanks to a critical hit. But we're in a very good position right now. We're in an extremely good position right now because we can just go for Terra Blasts. We can just go straight for a Terra Blast again. It is the Stellar Terra, so there's no immunities to it, but there's also no super effectives to it. So we'll go for the Terra Blast, throw them stars at it, and down it goes. So Petrarunt goes down. Enamorus is showing us how powerful it really is, which is great. Blaziken comes in. So this thing is probably going to go for a Protect right now so that it can get a speed boost. Now, I'm not a gambling man, but I feel like if we switch out based on that, we might be all right. So I think if we go hard Gliscor here, we should be good. Right? Or do they go for a Swords Dance, expecting to live? Let's go for a Moonblast, just to see. Oh, they do expect the switch. Great, so we made the right play. We made the right play, as that nearly KOs the Blaziken. But unfortunately, they do have a Focus Sash, which means they now get a Blaze Kickoff, which is definitely going to KO us. We've got a crit. I don't know if the crit mattered or not, but that Focus Sash was clutch. That was a clutch Focus Sash right there. So Enamorus does go down, but it's fine because we still have the Weavile in the back, and they have Garchomp, Great Tusk, and this thing. So let's go into Weavile real quick. So there we go. Midnight's coming in, the Weavile. And Weavile getting triple axle is amazing, by the way. Like, it straight up took out that Darkrai. I know it was a crit, but it's still awesome. So I'm going to go for that Ice Shard real quick, just to take it out. There we go. As down goes the Blaziken. Interestingly, not Speed Boost Blaziken, which is unusual, but at the same time, it's whatever. In comes the Great Tusk. So can Great Tusk take a triple axle? Well, I don't want to know whether it can, because I feel like they're going to Terra here into Terra Water. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to switch out and I'm going to go into our Skeledirge. Now, you're probably wondering why Skeledirge. Well, A, Skeledirge doesn't do much for us anymore. B, we can potentially burn this thing. And C, because I don't want to risk Iron Crown going down. So we'll bring this in. They do go for a Stealth Rocks. Huh, so they're no Terra. No Terra. I thought they'd try and Terra to take the triple axle, but then again, they're probably Rocky Helmet. So I get a free Will-O-Wisp here. As they go for an EQ, they are definitely defensive Great Tusk. And that does a lot of damage. That did a lot of damage. Is that really defensive Great Tusk? Or is it not? I don't know. From that damage, I can't really tell. Cannot really tell from that damage. So we're going to get some leftovers recovery anyway, which is always great. They did get the Stealth Rocks up, like I said. But if we can weaken this thing enough, then Weavile can finish it off and then finish up the game, which would be amazing if it could. So let's go ahead and do that. They go for an Earthquake. That's obviously going to take us out, but it's fine. Skeledirge, like I said, Skeledirge doesn't do too much for us. I'm leaning more towards... Like, did they already Terra? Did they already Terra? They didn't Terra, did they? They definitely didn't Terra. No. So, we can go Gliscor here. We can knock off their item. That would be the ideal situation because we do not want to get Rocky Helmet chip damage off of a triple axle. That's for sure. So we'll go into Gliscor real quick. Poison Stones do dig in, which is unfortunate, but we can go for a knockoff here and get rid of that Rocky Helmet, but they actually withdraw the Great Tusk. And they're going to go into what? The Garchomp. Of course, it's the last Pokemon remaining after Great Tusk. So Garchomp comes in. We're going to go for that knockoff. Get rid of that item. If they have got an item. Rocky Helmet, I mean. Loaded Dice. So they were actually a Scale Shot set. So they're probably going to go for the Scale Shot again this turn. If that's the case. So I'm inclined to go for an Earthquake here. Yeah, I'm inclined to go for an Earthquake. So they do go for a Dragon Claw, which is interesting. So they don't go for the Scale Shot. They must not have it. Or they will have it because they have Loaded Dice. But, you know, they must not need to use it because it can only hit 2 to 5 times. So it could be weaker than Dragon Claw potentially. So they go for a Swords Dance here, which is terrifying in its own right. which is terrifying in its own right. Let's go for that EQ. Should KO though, right? No, it doesn't. It doesn't KO, which is really unfortunate. So, I'll go for an EQ just in case we live, but I don't think we live this Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw comes through. Can we live? We do live. Go for the EQ. There we go. Gliscor living a +2 Swords Dance boost to Garchomp Dragon Claw. What a legend. What a legend. So Garchomp goes down. And now we just have Great Tusk to worry about. And we have got the Iron Crown and the Weavile. Great Tusk is definitely going to be able to take out the Gliscor though. That's for sure. Unless it's not got Ice Spinner. Wait, could have Ice Spinner, right? So I'm going to go for a knockoff, get rid of that Rocky Helmet if they have one. They do go for a Rapid Spin though, which just made this a 180. Because now I'm a bit worried. So we go for a knockoff, get rid of that item. They had Heavy Duty Boots. We get the Poison Heal back, and now we'll just start going for Earthquakes because we do not know what set this thing is. All I know is that now that they've Rapid Spin, this might be an epic comeback moment. So they go for a close combat, which isn't going to KO us by a long shot. So I'm guessing that's their only attacking move that can hit Gliscor. So our Earthquakes here are probably going to do the trick. So let's go for that EQ. Yeah, we can definitely take this thing on. If it doesn't have Ice Spinner, then we can take it on. We can definitely take it on because it's burned at the end of the day, isn't it? So I'm going to go for an EQ again, and that should finish up the game. They do go for a Rapid Spin, though, which is doing more damage than the close combat, to be fair. And we'll finish up the game with an EQ, and that is going to be the game, I think, unless it lives. It doesn't live. That's going to be the game. So GG Cloud, that's a pretty fun one. There's some hacks here and there, but that happens. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.